guys think of April O'Neil and her turtles?
Well,
Alright.
I didn't.
You okay there? You okay there, buddy?
No, I didn't sleep, man. I didn't really
You were
sleep.
thinking all night about the movie.
Because
I feel wrecked right now, and it's just like.
I understand.
So Willie,
we get it.
Let's work back. Last night, when I left you, you were wandering over to a convenience store. Why?
I needed beer.
You needed lots of beer.
Alcohol.
You needed convenience store
I needed
beer.
beer.
And I said to you, you have a problem.
That's correct.
Then I went home and drank all of the beer in my fridge.
Yeah.
Because I have a problem.
Because what we were explaining was like, as I walked, every step I took from the theater, I went from like having no soul anymore
To gaining it back, then
Right.
getting it shredded once more.
No, I had no soul as I walked out of the theater, and by the time I got home, I was just angry, and then like as I couldn't sleep, I was just like mulling over all the facts, and now I've pushed it away into that place where you put X-Men Last Stand or Daredevil, just that place of like, oh yeah, like remember that
Or
fucking
Prometheus.
thing from years? Yeah, remember those Michael Bay turtles from years ago? Oh god, what were they thinking? Like it's already there.
What
for
were
me,
they thinking?
And it's been like 12 hours.
Yeah. What happened to the movie?
I definitely think you thought it was a lot worse than I did. Like, I think all the Transformers movies were worse than this.
I disagree.
I think altogether they are not,
I
but
can't-
individually they are.
I can't
Yeah.
believe you actually sat through all the Transformers movies. I
I
gave
did.
up.
I skipped the fourth.
Okay, I just
Yeah.
gave
Oh,
up.
I forgot about the fourth.
Now before we
Yeah.
get too off track, Liam, have you seen the original live action Ninja Turtles movie from like?
I saw all three of them.
Okay, cool.
My favorite Turtles movie is Secret of the Ooze.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. The Secret of the Ooze.
Don't forget, we're turtles!
Secret of the Ooze is the most fun.
Yeah,
because it's the dumbest.
Because it's kind of awful, but it's rolling
I was
around.
also
and how
really a
awful
kid
it
at the
is.
time.
Well,
remember?
3 is the dumbest, but 3 gets
Three is the
unacceptably
Three is also
dumb.
just not good.
It's
No,
exactly.
3 is a bad movie because it's like, hey, do you want us to do Krang now? Do you want us to do Racken?
No,
Make
no.
way for Assassin's Creed 3 guys.
My cannons can destroy these monsters, my lord.
You were expecting maybe the Addams Family?
They're back.
Like, even if they were all new characters in a whole new setting and movie, it was just bad movie making 101.
Yeah,
it wasn't canon. Like
It wasn't fanboy problem.
It wasn't fanboy problems, and it wasn't like fucking like we're gonna shit on the things you love. It was just pure bad movie in its own.
It's a bad script. It's
Yeah,
a bad there's elements of the story that were like, that's not
Well,
that.
but for those things, they're not diamonds in a turd. They're fucking like $1 bills in a turd. And you're like, do I really want to wipe it off? Is
I
it
mean,
worth it?
I feel like if you take all the Turtles scenes and you excise them from the April scenes, which is 75% of the movie.
75% of the movie.
You know, the main problem
He's
is that
not.
it's-
That's not exaggerating.
Not
The
at
main
all.
problem is that it's about April, because when you look at the cool scene on the mountain, when you look at them just shitting it up in the sewers and just going through the tunnels,
Like, yeah, so
being turtles,
if
it's
these
fun.
decent action scenes, more or less,
The mountain was cool.
were the mountain one, but like they're fine.
Yeah.
Mostly,
The mountain one-
we're sandwiched between moments of them hanging out in the sewers, and then Raph has a weird adventure with Casey Jones. Like if it was if middle parts were just the first or second movie
You should
style.
clarify for the viewers what movie we're talking
Oh
about.
yeah, we should.
The Bay, April and her turtles.
April and her
I said that
turtles.
earlier in the video.
I don't think there's any really spoilers to say in a movie like this because it's like, oh,
You're not watching.
We're gonna spoil the shit out of it. though.
Why do spoilers
did
at
the
the
turtles?
end,
Did the turtles beat Shredder?
Yes.
Yes.
No, they didn't.
Wait, no,
No,
that's
they
true.
didn't.
You're right.
The hero of the movie beat Shredder.
Hey, are we going straight full spoilers?
We might as well.
Okay,
why are you
so-
watching this? if
So
you're
straight
not
up,
aware?
the movie's a fucking atrocious train wreck. You probably assume that much. If that's
Safe to
your
assume.
movie advice, From now on, we're just gonna talk shit about it until we get tired.
Remember once upon a time when what's her name? Fox said
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox said Michael Bay is like Hitler.
Yeah,
Yes.
she
whatever.
literally
I remember
called him
that.
Hitler.
I remember that.
Like, is this his revenge? Is
Yes.
this what he
I
does?
know.
No,
Give you a
putting
bad
food
script.
on her table.
Yeah.
'Cause she hasn't gotten work
She hasn't
since
eaten in
Jennifer's
years.
body. Remember that?
No.
Exactly.
You could have gotten an actor to play April O'Neil, and you got Megan Fox.
I would have rather had Helen Mirren play Matt.
To be
Oh my
fair,
god, that would have been amazing.
to be
I was
fair,
gonna say, that being said, like, Will Arnett wasn't on point.
Oh, Will Arnett's the worst in the whole movie.
Dry. You're a talking turtle.
And you're a human nerd.
you know he could be good.
Yeah, and the rest of the script was just kind of dodgy, so I don't even know if I want to.
But here's the thing,
I don't
the real
like
star-
her, but I don't even know if I want to pin it on her because everybody was just.
Here's
Well,
the-
it's too easy.
but
Whoopi
you're right that
Goldberg
she
should have
was
played
particularly-
April. They should have.
Whoopi had the best role.
Yeah, Whoopi had the best role. Going, what the fuck am I doing here?
I love how, like, just in the first 5 minutes, Pat and I just the whole plot just guessed everything.
Yeah, so
And
It's like a sheet of glass.
It was at minute 8 where they're having the business meeting with the mayor.
Yeah.
And I look over at you and I say, that guy killed April's dad.
Yeah.
And then you go, yeah, because he's best friends with Shredder.
He's besties with Shredder. And Sax is.
And then I
Sax is-
say, and April created the turtles.
Yeah.
And I was so close on that one. I was so close.
I'll give that one.
That is a gimme. That is a gimme.
It's actually worse. It's not April created the turtles. It's April named them, gave them their colors.
Gave them their food.
But she didn't create them. Like, she wasn't the scientist.
Did she
The little
give them the
girl
colors?
with what?
I thought her
Paint-
dad.
she
paint-
I thought the dad put the sample colors so you could tell the samples apart. That's why you do that on.
Yeah.
Xbox.
Maybe you're right.
Anyway,
Maybe
it doesn't
you're right.
matter. That's besides the point.
But she did name them.
She did name
and
them
fucking,
and
like,
take care of them, and maybe the pizza did it.
Super,
And she fed them pizza.
super expensive experiment.
Yeah, we were talking about this on the way
Six-year-old
around.
just running around in the background, feeding them
Shoving foods of various types.
And like
in there.
the tanks don't have tops to them, so that the girl can just stick her hand into the
mess around with the most-
Mutagened up animals.
so they stick turtles with mutagen
And rat.
and they don't know what it is.
God.
They don't know what this stuff is. They're like, okay, little girl, just play with the mutants.
Matt, before I forget, Matt, remind me to Skype you later, okay?
Yeah, remind
I-
me to drink Orange Crush while eating a delicious Pizza Hut.
I think Pizza Hut's okay though.
No.
Okay, Pizza Hut was expected.
But Pizza Hut's okay on its own.
We played the connecting. It said
right?
Pizza Hut.
Okay, yeah, but me
but there's
and
a
Wooly
difference?
expected
Yeah.
this, and he was like, no, he said what you said. That's fine.
But the other
Except
two.
the part where Pizza Hut's delicious flavor becomes part of the plot.
Of course.
That's where it's
That was
way,
That
way
it
over.
became dialogue.
Yeah,
I
like
don't know if you guys
I was
noticed.
expecting a food porn moment.
I was
It
expecting
became a
Splinter
monologue.
to
It was-
say the word Pizza Hut.
Now,
You should go to Pizza Hut.
When Mikey took out an Orange Crush and was like, "Hey, Orange Crush, drink it," whatever, I turned to Liam and I go, "To be fair, Orange Crush is delicious.
It's
And
great.
and I can't fault the movie for
It was
making
the second one
He
where
just-
it was
he-
like.
he said it though.
Yeah.
He didn't pull
You
it
know,
out.
they
but-
showed it.
No, he pulled one out.
Oh, he did it.
Yeah, he had
I
a
missed
full
it.
brand shot.
Yeah, I
like,
missed it.
oh.
There was a
that
brand
was
shot. Then when
funny.
Mikey had April and was carrying him somewhere, and he was just like, "Totally get fucking Orange Crush in the
stash.
bag. Don't tell Riff."
I'm not sure why Mikey in
That's
your
what he
head
sounded
talked
like to me.
with Cartman voice.
No, it talks like a Sea Viper voice, but a male version.
You mean Stamper? Stamper
Yeah,
voiced
it
all
sounds
these
like Stamper,
characters.
yeah.
I don't know if you guys caught it, but there was also a scene near the end where they were just driving through the city. Some people were driving through the city. I can't remember the specific scene, but there was like very clearly a movie title card in the background.
Yeah.
Probably
And
owned
it said
by
like
the
in
movie
theaters
company.
something.
Yeah.
But I couldn't.
Called
I couldn't
Progress
in theaters.
Theaters or
Oh,
whatever.
this hey. Yeah, exactly.
It was the
Like,
Foot
there were
Clan that
four
was
different
driving in the Humvees. And
Yeah,
so you're
yeah,
talking about-
exactly.
Speaking of the Foot Clan, who were the Foot Clan?
They
I
were-
saw a bunch of guys dressed in black.
They were the gangs in New York.
It was a paramilitary group.
So
you notice that they weren't ninjas.
There-
at all.
there's like
were like a
They
fucking
didn't matter.
PMC.
Which is the most Michael Bay thing ever.
They were a PMC.
I can think of two like dramatic problems with the Foot Clan. First of all, Shredder remains the same, evil guy from Japan,
Also,
despite having a completely American military group under his wing.
Which is
and
arguably
two,
it didn't seem like it was his group anymore because he asked Karai, who was not as OP as she was in Tournament
Also,
Fighters.
was just garbage.
He goes, "Your men are weak."
Yeah.
So she got this guy, and then Shredder's like, "You
sure,
suck."
but like
Also, daughter, I'm going to talk
But,
to you in
like,
Japanese while you speak to me in
they
English.
don't-
and then she's going to randomly
they don't
switch,
fit.
and they're going to randomly
like
switch between the
Shredder
two.
remaining exactly the same and the Foot Clan completely changing makes no sense. But worse than that, it's like you said they were like black hair military dudes all in black. They're so all in black that when the snow sequence, the snow fight happens, you notice that all of their guns have yellow tape on them because you wouldn't be able to see the guns
Yeah, that's correct.
against the white background.
That might be a that might be a
You're
thing.
referring to the
Yellow
scene,
things
though.
on
You're
guns.
referring
I
to the
actually
scene
don't
where
know.
they drove out of summer in New York, 19 minutes away, and drove
Okay.
into winter.
Look, I had no problem with this. Anyone seen the trailer or whatever, saw the movie, you saw like that winter mountain scene, right?
Yeah.
Now, maybe we missed it, but one piece of dialogue saying we're really upstate New York, but it just was like...
No, they say that they are 19 minutes away by helicopter.
Yeah, and
40-minute
it was
drive,
within relative driving distance because Megan Fox goes to Will Arnett, let's go to Sax's retreat, his cabin, and it wasn't a 7-hour ride.
But in 10 minutes, that's from Empire State to the edge of New York.
They didn't go to Mont Tremblant. You know?
No,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
they constantly drive back and forth in and out of winter.
A couple times.
And so they take a helicopter to escape, and you're like, okay, it must be far away. But then the turtles are able to physically
Catch up.
run.
On their fucking sewer
within
network.
an hour to get back to New York, like all the way from we can't see New York in the distance to we are on top of the Empire State Building.
Like,
It
it was.
I thought
So
it was.
we clocked
you're
it.
right.
We clocked it. It was at 13 minutes. That's where I tapped out, and I tweeted
Yeah, you and I had
yesterday.
guessed the entire.
Like, I
You
said,
can't
I'm tapped.
tap out, but then stay in the theater.
Yeah,
But
you
that's
gotta
well,
leave.
no. See,
Out of
Matt,
courtesy to
me and
you, sir.
Out of courtesy.
Wooly and I have to do this video with you.
Yeah.
But if we didn't, I would have.
That's a
That's the
tap-out
moment where
moment.
you're just like, I'm seriously considering walking
And
out.
I discovered something that I love about new 3D movies now is the learned gesture that everyone has of like just pulling off the 3D glasses and just fucking
I noticed Pat was doing
just
that.
like
in 2 seconds.
blinking and looking at them and just putting them back
It's
on.
just
having fun
Where
with
am
the
I?
What's going on?
Am
right?
I
Like,
human? Am I watching a
it's-
piece of entertainment?
It's awesome how everyone knows how to do that now.
It has been a long time since I watched a movie in which scene to scene to scene, I was constantly
enjoy it.
being brought out of it by things that
Dumb
didn't make
nitpicks.
sense.
Exactly.
Like the constantly changing weight of the turtles.
Oh my
is
god!
probably
Well,
my favorite.
why not? Like before you even
Highly
get there,
inconsistent,
I think the
yeah.
first thing was just every time Megan Fox goes into one of those, and this is what I'm gonna do, and this means this, and she's just displaying how awful of an actor she is.
Yeah.
And it rips you right out because we just look at each other like, oh, did they just do that?
And I wanted this part really bad, and I was positive that of all of the actresses in Hollywood, there was no way there was somebody that was a bigger fan than I was. So Raphael is the leader. In this movie, I sort of have a closer relationship with Raphael.
You know, and then you move on from the Skype moments and whatever, the bullshit.
We should mention
the introduction.
there's a full screenshot of a phone in which Skype is literally 10 feet wide on the
It's
screen.
too bad that wasn't enough, because then someone needs to say, were
say
you
the word.
Skyping
Yeah,
with
yeah.
your mom?
I was Skyping my mom. My favorite bit was, how did you get this number? He says from Skype.
Yeah, at the beginning when he's
So
randomly.
that was
oh
3
my god.
Skypes?
Yes,
Skypes.
No, that's two.
No, that was. Yeah, 2. You're right. There was 2.
Skype
It was
messages.
2 for each.
There was
except the movie, which I only
There
saw
was
once,
a
but it may have been
conspicuous
somewhere else.
use of a Windows 8 phone and a Windows 8
Laptop,
PC.
which you briefly
Which,
see.
yeah.
Very briefly.
But then it's like, hey, we need to introduce how badass Shredder is, but we also have to display how badass Splinter is. So the first thing the bad guy does is eat shit.
For a good 5-6 minutes, Splinter just kicks the goddamn shit out of him.
Which, to me, is
It's fine.
Like Splinter's the master, so the Turtles should have a tougher time.
You're right,
against
but
Which would make sense if they had an actual rivalry of sorts that made that like Splinter.
I'm
like,
glad you mentioned this because this movie has nothing between Splinter and Shredder.
And not-
Splinter just
and
knows
nothing
Shredder's
between the
bad.
Turtles and Shredder.
And not only is there nothing, but the fucking Turtles and Splinter learned from picking up a dusty book in the subway, a karate book, and they're like, now we know how to do everything.
It says a lot about this being Megan Fox's April O'Neil movie because April O'Neil's primary antagonist is not Shredder, and she is given actual motivation to hate this person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This guy killed her dad.
Which is
Fine.
You killed my father.
oh god, do that line again.
You killed my father. Like
Megan Fox actually goes,
Like,
"You killed my father."
The Turtles, prior to Shredder beating up Splinter, don't know who Shredder is. And have nothing. And he doesn't kill Splinter. He just beats him up a little bit.
Can we try to figure out the timeline of how her father died and she ran into the burning building, stepped over his body to save the turtles
Hey man,
and the
you gotta
rat?
save your pets.
And like,
I can only
did she
think he was
live in
killed
the
out
lab?
of the room. Because it was never established that he
No,
was
but
dead
why
in the
would
room.
she leave her
I
New
can
York
only
apartment to run into the burning lab building? How did she know it was on fire?
I can only think of the same building.
Oh my god. So hey,
which is possible.
Right,
Totally possible.
everybody,
But
you should like
that's the least of the issues.
when science drains all your blood, you don't need blood.
No, you need.
No, hold
Shredder.
on. I'm gonna get that mutagen out of their blood, even if I have to drain all of their blood, even if it kills them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drain all of their blood, even if it kills them.
But they
Look,
might be
I'm
okay.
gonna murder you even if it kills you.
People die when they are killed.
That being said, he doesn't know if they'll live without their
You're right.
He doesn't
You know what?
He doesn't
but-
know.
Right.
Yeah.
And
You know what?
sure-
That's not too bad.
And
That's-
neither do we, but you're out of blood, there's nothing going on.
It's a
How do
silver
you
lining.
save them? You pump them with adrenaline.
Okay.
So there's a computer console
I
roughly
want-
the size of Liam's chest.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And the
Right
word
there.
adrenaline is just so gigantic
Adrenaline
right there.
injection.
So I was having a goofy talk with Matt during the film where I was like, "What was the UI guy saying? Like, why do you need an adrenaline? Why do you need a toxic gas meter? What am I making this UI for? Like,
And furthermore, you press the button and it feeds all of them.
and she's
There's
mashing the
control, she
adrenaline inject button.
mash it until it works.
No, but the best bit about it was it kept cutting back to her.
Well, it's because it's G. They can't show the turtles getting adrenaline, so they have to
Injections,
point to a meter.
Yeah.
Right? And now when I tell you that, like, okay, so there's a moment where they get pumped up full of adrenaline and they come breaking out the window glass and whatever. You're like, oh shit, and then they go fight Shredder, right? No.
Shredder was
kinda
in there.
goof
You're
around.
right.
No, we just run a
They
gag
do a
about how
Michael
they're-
Bay "We're High" and Goofy joke.
gag,
And it was just
and
really
then
gag,
you just
yeah.
do a little like slide whistle transition. The scene is over, and you're like,
That
why?
was- it was a fun scene,
What
though.
was the point?
Also, you know what removes a lot of tension in a scene in which you literally demonstrate that your heroes are bulletproof
We're bulletproof.
and cannot be killed by
Hey,
bullets.
that was a little weird because they go like this, right? And they use their shells.
But
And I
then
was like,
Raph
okay,
just, like-
shells,
Okay,
shells are
so
bulletproof.
before
That's cool.
before that, in an earlier scene when Raph shows up, I turn to Wooly and go, "Did he just shoot Raph?" Because it really looks like he just shot Raph
shot
6
him.
times right in the chest.
Yeah, and
then no one talks about it, so
Yeah.
we assume that he didn't. And then Raph does this, and all of impacted bullets
Just
shoot out of his chest.
Despite the fact that the threat from about 20 minutes prior was them getting stuck with tranks.
Tranquilizer
Okay.
darts.
In the original movies,
I
one
do
turtle,
believe those bullets he just ejected were the ones he just got shot with.
It was
on the
unclear.
spot.
No, he would.
No, they were the old
Why would
bullets.
tranks be a worry?
Yeah,
if
no, that,
bullets
okay.
don't penetrate.
Yeah, that's what.
Well, of course.
They saw
shot
that
him
they
in
had
shell.
the turtles go.
The
Oh my
turtles
god!
have a shell right there.
Yes,
You're aware
they
of
do,
that,
but they
correct?
still
Like-
have green.
No, I
whatever
know,
part.
but I'm just saying, like,
The
that's
movie
why
did
they should
not
still
make
be
it
worried
clear.
about Trank, because they still don't want to get shot in the arms with anything.
The movie did not make it clear what was
we couldn't
bulletproof
tell
and what
whether
was
this
not.
was. Yeah, I didn't know what
it
to
was
make out
dumb,
of that.
but I mean...
Okay, but look,
Because
the
if, they're,
original-
worried about
because if
both.
they're like, we're bulletproof, and then they just aim for the head, then
No, it was dumb.
What?
It was dumb that Raph turned around. That entire thing was dumb, but they could totally take it to the chest.
In the original
That being
movies,
said.
one turtle, Raph can't beat up like 20-foot guys. Like 20 were able to overpower him or whatever. In this movie, I'm like, okay, the turtles are huge. They're massive. They're super
They're 6.5
strong.
feet
They're
tall.
6.5 feet tall.
They're
and I go,
apparently 5,000 pounds.
and they can throw
only
shipping containers.
They can throw shipping containers. You're right.
So if you give the Foot guns,
Might have been all four.
okay, that kind of equalizes it a little bit. The Foot have guns, and to make up for
The
that,
turtles are
strong.
super powered.
But the turtles are now bulletproof, making the Foot soldiers just as good as the Roger Dodger droids from fucking Star Wars.
What a terrible shot. Ah, well, it's my programming.
Yeah.
The turtles just cut through them like butter,
Yeah.
making the Foot pretty useless.
You know, and then
Like,
you get your
What a great... like,
What a bunch of good action scenes where, like, in the trip down the mountain, like, the fear of danger is from the fall off the mountain,
Yeah.
Not
not
the
the
bad
three
Or
Humvees
getting
of
hit by
James
the
Bond
truck.
villains,
Yeah.
like, coming to get you.
Absolutely.
And then you get your fucking third act into climax where they're battling it out on the roof.
We need to talk about the turtle weight. We
But-
need to talk
yeah,
about
yeah,
how heavy they
a
are.
second.
I
You just
wanna
touched
talk
on
about-
something. Remember, like early on when the Foot captured the turtles to bring them to like the lab to extract the blood, and I think it was either you or you that said, "Really, in broad daylight, they're just marching the turtles out." And the same thing happens in the third act where you're having the giant climactic fight.
You're having
on top of
Transformer
the
Shredder
building.
and 4 turtles fight on top of a skyscraper that is in Times Square
Yeah,
Right
Yeah.
next to it. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Why
Yeah.
this doesn't make
at
sense?
2 p.m.
This doesn't make sense from one clear perspective, is that it's easier to CGI and have characters when it's a nighttime thing.
Of course.
On daytime, it's harder because there's no light is harder to predict and where it's going to be or whatever.
It's
So I was
harder.
like, that's ballsy, I guess, but also makes this not as epic or not as cool.
Well, for me, it was just, if you remember the bad guy's motivation at that point,
The bad guy
they
had-
were going to poison the entire city, but then the turtles escaped, and he hadn't made the vaccine yet, which was the whole point of like what they were going to do. Was sell
Shredder
the
is
vaccine.
setting up the
he
bomb
didn't
and
make the
hits the
vaccine.
5-minute timer on the bomb, and then the guy starts making the
The
vaccine.
vaccine was not being created until the bomb was already rolling.
Oh, no, that's the least of my problems. My
It was-
problem.
But like,
is
how is
over-
Shredder not going to get sick standing
No.
right next to the bomb that kills you in like 2 seconds?
Let's pretend.
Because he
let's
has the
pretend-
antidote.
Let's pretend those guys would have been fine, and the
Okay.
plan would have went off without a hitch.
Okay.
Sax gets a blank check from the government. Right?
Yeah.
Which
that's
Yeah.
the government
why?
does that.
Why? The fucking poison tank says Sax's name's on it.
You're right.
It's on top of these Saxes.
I didn't think about that.
Oh my god!
So we were kind of yelling.
We were blinded by our nitpicks.
Look, we were
There are
kind of
bigger
yelling.
problems with this movie.
Well, hold on. Calm
Then what
down.
happens?
Calm down. Now let's make sure everyone heard that. The bad guy's plan is we are going to release this deadly toxin in the air,
Yeah.
but we also have the antidote.
Yeah.
So we're going to release it in the air and kill half of New York.
Yeah.
And then we'll say,
We'll
hey,
be the
we found the
saviors.
antidote, government. Pay us fat cash. We'll save everyone.
And then Shredder
Everything's
has a
good.
terror weapon, and I get rich off the cure.
But like Liam just pointed out, when the toxin is clearly emanating from your compound.
Your building.
And
yeah.
it says your name on it. Like,
Like it says Sax, and the reason it says Sax is that people can go, this is the bad guy's base.
This is the building.
But it makes no sense because maybe if you're in some podunk town, maybe if you're in Plague of Gripes' farm town, no one will notice. But you're in fucking New York City, the capital of the world.
Also, Shredder just wants to control the greater New York area.
Yeah,
Like,
he has no ambition. He moved from Japan.
ambition,
He
small
came from
ambition.
Japan
to New York to rule New York only.
Manhattan
Yeah.
He
specifically.
doesn't care about New York State or the country or the world.
Usually you want to work your way up to New York, not start it off there and go, I'm good. I'm
Oh,
good. That's all I
exactly.
need.
So, you know, so there...
I was gonna say another thing that my girlfriend pointed out to me because she is a journalist is everything April did as a journalist was wrong.
Yes.
April is, in my mind, she's kind of a little bit of a Joan of Arc, in the sense that she's willing to do whatever she has to do.
You're right. Oh, throwing yourself into gunfire is bad?
Running towards violence, yes, of course, that's bad. But, like, trying to stop people and saying, like, what are you running away from? No, you go with them is what you're supposed to do. And, like, newsrooms do not operate like that. Why would you take a picture when you would want to take a video? You would always want to take a video instead of a picture.
Running into tank fire.
Her complaining that she went through 4 years of journalism and she's here. Wait, what do you mean you're here? You're a reporter with a dedicated cameraman
on a New York
News prime station.
Probably the most advantageous place
people would kill for that role in 4 years.
No, you're right.
Like the whole journalist
But April has
thing
greater ambitions than that. She's so ambitious.
And
I love the way she pouts her lips and stares at things happening.
Like the whole journalist thing, I wouldn't have really noticed it, but like my girlfriend just poked holes
That's
through
a really good point.
and it's just not well written at all.
Taking photos of the sign for like family Kazoku or whatever that's printed on the side of every crime thing, and then when you see the photo later in the movie, so
she takes a photo on what is clearly a red shipping container,
and
then when she shows her boss, it is a white shipping container, and that's the kind of continuity error that wouldn't really matter, except it's way off. It's not even close.
Right in your face.
There's actually she actually had tons of photos of
but the one that she referred to from the night before,
should have shown
it was
that
the
one.
wrong one.
They should have shown that one, but like she had a lot.
The other dumb thing is that she did not once, not maybe thrice, she'd go, I'll take this crazy conspiracy theory and shove it at people
with
and
no proof.
Expect them to believe
with no
every
proof.
time.
Well, the second time she had the photo of them jumping away, and she did not show it.
I was
for no reason.
I was really surprised.
She showed the video of turtles though,
and she showed the picture. But she could have showed Whoopi Goldberg the photo of them jumping away, the thing that would. And no, because plot, whatever.
No, because no plot. She wasn't friends with them. She wasn't.
So when they're fighting on the roof and the turtles get knocked off.
Okay, fine, we're here. This is
they grab onto the fucking side of the building and they're holding onto girders.
An I-beam.
We're talking like your standard, like 2 foot thick steel I-beam.
How did the I-beam fall?
They were There were too heavy.
Why did the I-beam fall?
They were too heavy, and the fucking thing.
The bolts just tore out.
Shot out, and they were falling.
And this was Leo's weight alone.
And then Raph is there, and you're like, so they weigh a ton each?
More than a ton.
What the fuck? And how are they riding in a car before that?
And an elevator, all four of them.
And then fast forward a few moments, and then the whole tower with the poison on it.
No, you missed a part. Leo weighs 2,000 pounds and is enough to tear the I-beam off the building with his weight. But Raph
grabs his arm,
which is also 2,000 pounds, grabs his arm, who was holding Donnie in the I-beam next to the one Leo tore off the building, and he's able to one-arm them back onto the roof. Despite them weighing combined 100,000 pounds.
This might seem like a dumb nitpick, like why are we nitpicking on a comic fantasy thing? But during that scene, so many of these things happen in succession at the same time.
They're inconsistent
I'm
from
hanging,
one shot to another.
All four turtles are hanging off of a single rod that's this thick, made out of steel or whatever, off of a radio tower, and that's fine. But they're tearing I-beams.
You want a better example? They were using suction cups to stick onto a sign at the end.
Yeah, they were.
You can't use suction cups if you weigh a ton.
And then when
maybe they're really good suction cups.
And then
Donnie made them. No, explained away.
But the thing doesn't fall over because there's 2,000 pounds.
Donnie made them good.
When the gas tower is fucking falling over, and then they're running along it like it's no problem, and you're like, but you just showed me they can't support their weight.
Well, one of the bits to me was when Raphael, the strongest of them all, canonically, was getting pushed back by Shredder. But then all four of them were able to hold up the thing for a while, which doesn't, Leonardo was the only one in a good position. He was at the weak leg, and the other ones were all, under it.
Leo could have just, Shredder cuttered him.
Doesn't really make any sense that, they could hold that up.
Can we take a moment and just appreciate how Shredder's design might have been cool if he didn't just look like a fucking Transformer?
Leo pointed out he makes Transformer
noises.
He does.
Right?
One specific
You're like, that would have been fine if I didn't just see this shit 4 times.
So you see
like
Shredder's
that.
face once in the entire movie.
Twice.
Well, it's always covered in shadow.
Whatever.
He looks cool.
A couple times. Doesn't really
He's
matter.
the evil guy.
Once when he talks to Sax, once when he talks to Carol.
It's something that you pointed out earlier. So I'm going to talk to my Japanese daughter, who will reply to me in English.
Yes.
To be 100% fair, it's never said in the movie that I assume that she's
but that's not the point. I'm talking about language.
But she speaks.
So I'm going to talk to the tertiary, like, generic villain in Japanese, and she's going to reply to me in English. Despite later showing that she can speak Japanese.
At least a little bit, yeah.
I'm going to talk to this white guy, evil guy, in Japanese, and he will respond to me in English.
Mm-hmm.
I will speak to Shredder and the Turtles in English because they don't speak Japanese. But why would he care or know?
And he speaks pretty bad Japanese at that. Kara's Japanese is so good that she says one word, and that one word means you two guards get that other guard in between you
and murder him.
Just gas his ass down.
They had to have decided it beforehand.
They knew before.
That's the only way.
Yeah.
That she and those two guys were like, okay, so we're gonna kill Jimmy.
Jimmy's
gonna go.
Yeah.
So to show the turtles the plan.
Yep.
So when Shredder,
instead of just gassing one of the turtles,
Shredder tells me to do the plan, she must have agreed with him beforehand. Also, they all decided to show the plan to the turtles
instead of just opting to kill Splinter or one of the turtles,
or instead of gassing all of the turtles,
which you can't do because it's in this movie.
but that means that was bad, right?
Hey guys, before we leave this turtle base, destroy it. Okay. We walk away, and the base is not destroyed.
It's really not that
it's
bad.
completely not destroyed.
It's a good thing that Shredder threw a few knives to make the entire tower explode.
Yeah.
So I remember Pat
the
goes,
knife
"Why is
weapon
it
is really
exploding?
cool, but-
Why would it explode?" I'm like, "Because Shredder threw knives." I mean, what? Are you missing
Are you
the
dumb?
movie?
Yeah,
Are you like, what? Did you
And then finally at your denouement, when April is holding on. And Shredder's like there.
Also holding on.
And then Shredder's like, I'm gonna kill her because that's a good idea. And it's like, yeah, okay.
This guy has shown that he is good with these knives.
Amazing.
He can hit anything.
Impeccable.
Right?
Yeah.
And he fucking.
So I'm gonna hold up my hands.
And he shoots the knife not at her hanging there to impale her,
At her hands.
but at the bar next to her hands.
Just
I got
so that
scared
her
and
hands
dropped
goes,
it.
oh, and
just
she
to
starts.
startle her.
And then she starts falling because God forbid you impale her or her fucking
that's not Shredder's way.
That's a little too much, you know.
That's a little too much for kids.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. That's why they speak like that, Japanese to English, because too much subtitles, kids go, fuck
Kids don't
this.
like it.
Fuck
No,
this.
exactly. Yeah.
I'm out of
And
here.
then-
Mom, let's go. Mom, bring the car around.
and
Then
I've
have
got
him
a play
speak.
date at 7
Then
They
have
have
him
him
speak
speak
English with a really intense accent.
But then us would be like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Shredder should speak.
I could deal with that.
I know I could, but when these movies are made by committee, that's what they
And
think.
the committee is then vetoed by Michael Bay.
Yeah.
It was basically Hitler.
Yeah.
As far
Okay,
as Megan
so-
Fox is
so-
concerned.
Are we? I was going to say we should at least talk about some things that I like, because there's some things, but purely from a visual.
No,
I
didn't like the fact that April was the one that killed Shredder.
I got
No,
two
of
more
course.
bad things, but then I
didn't
got
like
good
that.
things as well. I
Okay,
got two
so
more
we
bad
didn't really
things.
touch on that. All 4 turtles they're all holding on each other in like a ladder formation. And she goes, swing me! And then I think there's Pat that goes, oh my god, are you serious? She's going to kill Shredder.
Right.
And, they
And you
swing her.
said, no, she's not.
And they go, no.
mid-swing, yeah, you said no, she's not, and I'm like, they wouldn't dare.
Yeah.
You know, and
We were all thinking the same
while it
thing.
was happening, and then she kicks the fucking
But remember,
blade
the reason
into
why
him.
she got to is because the turtles have no beef with Shredder. She's the one that has beef.
They do now that he fucking
They
beat up
do
Splinter.
now.
Like,
But how? But like, what?
But all I did was beat Splinter up.
Okay.
Well, he's also trying to like
he
fuck the
left
city up.
Splinter for
That's
dead.
besides the point. Don't fucking like.
But like, April weighs what?
Yeah,
what? A buck 50
But like,
at most?
let's compare.
that's
Let's
generous.
compare.
That's super generous.
This is
and
besides-
he's in a mecha suit with the blade going through the metal, and her foot is enough to drive it in.
this is entirely besides the point of the thesis statement of April kills Shredder in this movie. Which is just the
like,
worst
yeah,
thing
yeah,
ever.
like, Liam,
Any
let's-
of the 4 or
details
Splinter
aside.
or Will Arnett would have been fine.
Let's compare like Turtles movie 1, like the original back in 1990, to this. So, not in terms of their long-standing beef with Shredder, but the beef you see in the movie. Like, you're told they hate him, whatever, but you need something in the movie. So he captures Splinter and appears to work Splinter over for like a month. Like, he kicks the shit out of Splinter. And they get him back, and he's fucking ruined. He's a piece of shit. Fuck you, Shredder.
When Shredder first appears to the Turtles have no idea who Shredder is. They don't know that it was him that captured Splinter. It was Leo that just goes, I only have one thought. This guy knows where Splinter is.
This guy knows where Splinter is.
Shredder mobs the shit out of him. He beats the crap out of him. No one can beat him. No one can touch him. And Shredder just has to get enraged, and when he takes off his mask, that's like the last 5 minutes of the movie, that's when they go, it's him, the guy that Splinter told us chopped off his ear. Splinter stands there like a Muppet, because he is.
He's a Muppet.
And Shredder runs at him, and then Splinter flips him over and says, you suck, and drops him on, and then Casey Jones crushes the shit out of him.
Oops.
Second one, Shredder does himself in by collapsing a Super Shredder, and it collapses a bunch of wood. Third one, Shredder's not in it. The CG movie, Shredder's not in it.
My biggest disappointment with this movie, and me and Matt were whispering back and forth about it, was when April did in Shredder. Me and Matt were like, "Oh, here comes Super Shredder," because he was going down with the mutagen.
Because Shredder had a vial mutagen,
and I'm sure you were as excited as I was. Like, this is gonna be the thing. This is the thing that will save this scene. And Super Shredder with the turtles fighting it could have totally saved
that leads me to another point. Is that I was sure that was going to happen because I read that the movie is like 2 hours, 2 hours and like 5 minutes. And I don't know about you guys, but even for whatever reason, and usually bad movies don't act this way, but I felt it went by very fast.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I think it was fucking molasses.
Me and Wooly and you two had, because of Wooly and I gave up so early.
Everything.
And I was hoping for a Super Shredder thing. So when he dropped, and then you see his hand, and he grips it a little bit.
And there's green stuff.
I went, oh shit, and then it just goes to nothing.
Because they were already playing the ending of the movie music when he grips it.
That being said, like, we were coming off of April just did this, and like, the disbelief, like, it can't possibly end with April. Here comes Super Shredder.
If April knocked him down and he fell, and he became Super Shredder, that moment is completely forgiven because he didn't die.
Now, I know that one thing that people would say, and probably you guys would say as well, as far as redeeming qualities goes, is like, oh, they had some personality moments that were not bad because those are what the Turtles are.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Right? And they definitely did have those, but overall, I walked away like, they're fucking Alvin and the Chipmunks. Like, it was just too much.
They become total characters.
Have you watched Alvin and the Chipmunks anytime lately?
Yes. I played and tested the game.
These guys are way better than Alvin.
Look, I know precisely. I'm not sure if you agree. The moment where I'm like, okay, I don't know about the Turtles as a whole, is that when they're all sewer surfing into like a pipe and they all cram in and Michelangelo farted. That's when I was like, that's too much. That's too much into the goofiness. It's just, now there's that scene in the elevator towards the end where
which starts off really lame, and I roll my eyes, and then ends
as it kept going. It's one of those.
This was a good decision.
It was.
Donnie's too much of a nerd.
Donnie's too much of a nerd. Michelangelo's too jokey. And usually
Raph looks like he's going to murder everyone all the time.
I thought Raph was cool.
And Leo was Leo. Leo had less personality than the Nickelodeon cartoon. Did you watch the couple episodes that I told you about?
Yeah, totally.
Where they give Leo a great little personality thing? Is that he watches a Star Trek type show, and he's enamored with the captain of this Star Trek type show.
And he mimics this guy.
That's
great.
And I'm like, that's great, because that's like Turtles watch cartoons, they do whatever, and the show is completely done in a different animation style. And the show always winds up with one red shirt going, what are we going to do? Well, and the captain always slaps him, and that's the end of the show. And Leo goes, yeah.
Dr. Mindstrong's been taken over by the Cortexicons. Dr. Mindstrong must be destroyed.
What a hero.
A lot of the turtles, Michelangelo specifically, very urban sounding, I would say. Because what else? What? Are they going to still be surfers? No, that's lame now.
No, they just
Even though they busted out not one, but 2 cowabungas.
No, which makes no sense.
Which makes no sense because I like the first one because Raph goes, I think we got one more left in the tank.
Well, because
shout the stupid bullshit you shout.
Because now what they used to be in the early '90s, now that is just black, just pimping my ride and shit. You know?
That also smacks of Michael Bay.
Yes,
people love black people and how they talk.
Of course.
Because
despite the movie not being directed by him, being produced, you can feel.
Let's
his
not
fingers
make Mikey and Raph are making like a fucking hip hop album.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's such a great little gag.
Yeah, that's the thing though that I actually like that, and that's what I was going to say. Is remember when they had those little training sequences where they showed them as young actual teenagers? Yeah. I turn to Liam and go, I like these designs. Do you remember Raph had like a big red leather jacket?
And the zebra print, the head.
Yeah. These look kind of cool. There was that. You remember seeing when Splinter was talking and they showed a gigantic wall of ghetto blasters that Donnie had collected? I was like, that's totally
the coolest
makes sense.
thing Splinter has ever had in his room.
That is so cool. And Splinter himself, while he looked like fucking roadkill at first,
and it took a minute to get used to his voice.
It took a minute to get used to that. I was like,
I thought he looked good.
And when he fought, it looked cool. And like there was all these little things. I'm like, it's such a shame.
Like because they had that moment where they're like, okay, we're pushing Splinter right now, and like he jumps on 4 dudes, wraps one with his tail, and just beats down
and just fucking Ip Man shit.
Ip Man's them, and you're like, you're selling Splinter right now. You're selling.
You did an okay job there.
In the end, I liked the turtle designs like way more than I thought. Because in motion, they just
the nostrils and the lips were weird, but they didn't pull me out.
Exactly. In motion, to the point where I almost feel as if like there was a last minute like let's shrink those down a bit because they were not as bad as I remember them being when I first saw them.
I was thinking that, so it might just be that it was like actually moving in front of us, and not just the terrible screen of Donnie.
Because there's more than a couple of moments of them just standing still with their mouths closed, and you saw like no lips.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as portrayed.
I really like some of the little touches on their costumes, like Mikey's glasses always hanging there.
I love the little New York shades. Little New York
I love
pin
NY,
on Leonardo. I love NY thing. That makes so much sense because that would be some shit people would throw down the sewer.
And you just grab it, and that's it.
I think another thing why people I think all of us at first when we saw the trailer is like, I don't know about these designs. Is that if you had seen those designs on DeviantArt, you'd be like, oh shit, look at this, look how hyped that is.
Because
that'd be cool.
Because it's an alt.
Because it's
concept
an alt
art
thing. But when you say here's a canon movie, you go fuck this, right? It's harsh.
I can accept Donnie's staff also being the boost stick.
A telescopic.
That was kind of fun.
I'll take that. That makes sense because like a stick.
He would do shit. Yeah.
That joke from the 7-foot stick. So sure, but. Yeah, man. All in all, like all these little highlights. You're trying to pull that dollar bill out of the turd, and
so usually we've talked
shit on your
shit about
I
this
think
movie.
the turtles are more than $1.
Usually, what you get to save this is like, there was cool kung fu action scenes, right?
No, they're
It's like no, because as we've established, the foot is nothing. So when you look at all the fights, like I can remember most of them, it's the turtles beasting on these guys like they're in training mode, Like the guy, I don't think a single Foot Clan soldier hits a turtle.
No,
the entire movie.
No, the stun rods.
Only the stun rods when they get captured.
When they invade the base.
But like they all have swords and nunchucks and shit, and I don't think a single one hits them at any time in the movie.
To the point where because they weigh 2 tons.
Maybe not.
It would have been better at the end if they kept fighting with stun rods instead of AK-47s and fucking machine guns.
There were some cool like little bits, like one bit where it was either Leo or Raph. It was a pretty dark scene where he just fucking tackles a foot soldier and he just slams on the wall.
When they're fighting in the subway and they throw a dude into the train, you're like, he's dead.
Yeah,
that foot soldier is murdered.
A horrible death.
And furthermore, when they have an RPG coming out of the turtle van, that's for murdering.
Yeah,
that's not for clearing a path.
You know,
on the mountain when Raphael goes like, "Hey Donnie, do that slingshot thing," and then he slingshots Raph, and Raph just does like a cannonball, and his shell slim. Like, okay, that's cool. I'll give you that.
Fastball special.
But but this only works if Raph weighs like 2,000 pounds.
Yeah,
because he destroys the truck.
He destroys the Humvee.
Yeah, he destroys a Humvee.
He's like, oh, Michelle's correct.
It's utterly destroyed. Now that's a vehicle that can repel RPG fire.
I was gonna say he only bent in the side and made it flip down.
Yeah, the bending in the side requires like an RPG.
Sure.
Like he has to weigh like 10,000 pounds.
You know. So now that we've established they weigh 40,000 pounds.
I don't think a rocket launcher is 10,000 pounds of pressure.
Well, you know what I mean.
I was gonna say that final scene where I'm like, oh, the movie's it's still going. Okay, that's cool. Is that when Will Arnett comes up, and for some reason it was very unclear. I wrecked like 2 Channel 6 news vans. Yeah. I gallivanted with you and did a bunch of bullshit. I didn't go to work in the last 3 days.
Got no footage.
I got nothing to show. Channel 6 gave me this brand new like Bentley or whatever it was. The Flitwick Express, apparently. Because I'm not sure you guys realize this. He played the cowardly cameraman from the original cartoon.
Yes,
Vernon, who is always trying to screw April over for stories.
In this one, he was just trying to screw her.
Period.
Apparently everyone was.
Hey, Megan! Sorry, April, do you like my fedora? Like, are you serious?
I actually thought that was a great gag. And he even like put his foot up against the truck in that way. I thought that was a pretty funny
So he shows up and goes, Channel 6 gave me this Bentley. Oh shit, P. Diddy crap going on.
Not a scratch on it!
Not a scratch on it. And then the turtle van comes up and Michelangelo's like, oh my god, a rocket launcher.
Check the base, bruh.
Uh-oh.
My bad.
Oh no!
Like,
oh my car!
So then me and Pat run along with this narrative. We get onto Michael Bay's hook and we go, oh no, that's a brand new car. What's he gonna tell his boss?
The turtles blew it up.
Oh no!
That's how embarrassing. I guess I'm gonna be stuck in this underground underpass area,
forever.
and then the turtles, I guess, will drive away. So
and I can't even.
That's like
my brain has
they
to.
They pay attention to it Vern makes a joke about it, but then it still makes no sense. Where he knows he's not planning to meet April and the turtles in this location.
Yeah.
And he's been creeping on her the whole movie, and he says, "Why don't you meet me alone at 2 in the morning in this abandoned underground parking garage?"
And he makes a joke about it.
And then she's like, "Ha ha!" And he's like, "Look at my hot car."
Yeah. And like, if the turtle van did not pull up unannounced,
it would have been just an awkward moment for him. Yeah.
Who knows? So they pull up, and none of them were expecting them there, and then we get the movie closer.
And then Vernon takes out his crane from his stomach and goes, "Oh, it was me! I think you're hot." Like,
Dimension X.
I didn't like it.
It wasn't a good movie.
It
was not a good time.
It was slightly better than I thought it was going
upon
I had
further
such low
reflection,
expectations.
I say that it still hasn't topped my all-time worst movie-going experience, which is Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yes,
which is the worst movie I've ever seen.
It is the worst movie I've seen in a theater that I paid money for.
But despite, even with the parts that we can say are a little bit redeemable, I can still comfortably use the word atrocious.
I think Transformers 2 is worse. I think Transformers 1 and 3 are 1% better.
I'd agree with that. I don't have a problem with that.
I think it's better than all the Transformers movies. That being said, I think the Transformers movies are dreck. I had such low expectations, and particularly I had such low expectations for the Turtles as characters that I think I came away liking it a bit because they were good, but the rest of the movie.
I couldn't believe
interesting. I would have expected that part to be fun because there's already so established that you know what jokes to do that the rest of the movie would be where they suffer.
I saw the designs and I was like, I don't have faith in this. I don't have faith in this.
Yeah, but if you told me Michael Bay was directing the Transformers movie, the first thing I said was, that's pretty good.
That makes sense.
Michael Bay movies have tons of cars and explosions, and that made sense to me. But as it went on and on and on, he's like, I've done all the explosions, but they keep driving dump trucks of money up to my fucking house. What am I supposed to do? I can't say no because I have no
The contract says I'm good for 20 of these.
Yeah.
Pawn it off to the guy who did...
Pawn Turtles off to the guy that directed Battle. Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. Thank you.
Which isn't a shine. It could have been directed by Michael Bay.
I could not believe that my low expectations weren't even met.
Yeah.
Like, and yeah, 13.
I'm surprised.
Like, if you go to watch the movie.
Did you look at the Rotten Tomatoes before you
Yes, I did.
Well, I thought 16% or whatever it was.
17.
Was very, very low, and I was like, I was surprised.
It's at 20.
I lowered my expectation to a 17%, and I was disappointed.
Okay.
And if you go to watch the movie, I suggest you don't go watch the movie. But if you do, 13 minutes in, check your phone and be like, is this 13 minutes? Okay, that's when Pat and Willie just died inside and gave up. And you will have given up too.
Draining me as it
No,
goes.
I hate her too, so it was awful.
Because you were told for like 2 straight years, this is the hottest woman on the planet. And when you're told something, it doesn't stick.
It's like maybe she was
Especially
for
when
10
it's not
minutes
reflective of your
after
feelings.
Transformers 1 came out, and then that stopped being true.
Or just casting anyone that could deliver.
Was positive that of all of the actresses in Hollywood, there was no way there was somebody that was a bigger fan than I was. Raphael is the leader.
I think in like maybe an hour or two,
they're going to announce
the box office thing. And a few days ago, it said Turtles poised to bump off Guardians.
It beat Guardians by a couple million, but Guardians has maintained its
Guardians is still awesome. But hey, as a general ranking, Turtles 1, Turtles 2, Turtles CG movie,
Turtles 3.
No,
Turtles 3.
We're skipping that one.
Yeah, no, I put Bay over Turtles 3.
Well, you're wrong.
Because Shredder's in this one.
Yeah, but
you know what? All right.
Yeah.
No, I go.
When was the last time you watched Turtles 3?
Yeah.
Like 25 years ago?
I watched it 2 years ago. It's not very good.
But you know what? No, I would
When's
say,
the last time you watched Michael Bay Turtles?
I would do that
last night.
It's not very good either.
I'd take that, but I'd bump CG Turtles up to second. I liked it a lot better.
The reason why CG Turtles is a little low to me is just because its villains are very uninteresting and don't even have, like... why not Krang?
I'd have to go 2, 1, Bay, then 3, because I didn't see the animated one in 2008.
You should see it.
You should.
2007.
I do want to see
I didn't see the animated one.
But definitely 2, 1, and then big gap. And a lot of greater than symbols in there, and then Bay.
And then
3 is right next to it.
And then on the opposite side, in front of that number 1 being number 1, a lot of greater than signs, and then Turtles Forever, which is just the greatest thing.
It's hard to place that just because it's like not a theatrical movie.
It's not a theatrical release, but Turtles Forever is the greatest thing.
Is one of the greatest things
ever.
And
you're just done. No, that's not true. You're not done because you have to watch the anime, where they form into Great Saint Turtle.
And don't forget the suit show. The next mutation.
The next mutation with Venus de Milo.
The only reason Turtles Forever is not the best is because they could not secure the original voice actors for the original Turtles.
That's
because of a union dispute.
Dude, there's so much other boner diamond dick shit going on in that movie. It does that. I'll take that. I don't care.
Yeah,
everything else in Turtles Forever is like mindgasm.
So everyone, slap your hands. Turtle Power.
In theaters, August 8th.